Let me ask about policy then.
Yes.
Is it still the policy of the Trump campaign and of Mr. Trump that there should be a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what is going on? That was his statement on that matter. Is that still the policy of the campaign and the candidate?
What he has said, and he repeated it, and again, people can pull it up for themselves if they like, Rachel. What he said recently when he was delivering his entire fighting radical Islamic terrorist speech
the Ohio
speech. That's right, a week ago Monday. Seems so long ago.
I know. Every day is a year,
ago.
trust me.
They're like dog years in politics, I've decided. What he said there was that we are going to ban people from entry here from countries that are known exporters of terrorism, which we can't sufficiently vet. So that is not everybody. That's not every continent.
Does that statement rescind the earlier statement? Does that mean that, it was very clear what he said in December, and he put it in writing, right? A total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States. It was very clear. Is that now no longer operable as the statement of the Trump campaign? Should we see this new statement about countries that have a history of exporting terrorism? Should we see that as supplanting that earlier statement?
No, I don't think it's supplanting at all.
So they both exist?
I think that, well, yes, they do, because I think it clarifies it in terms of, well, what does this actually mean? And
so what about a Muslim who wants to emigrate here from Australia?
Well, it depends. Do they have a record of terror? Are they tied to any groups? Are they? Look, his entire point is very simple, Rachel, if I may. Whether it's an American-born lone wolf terrorist in Orlando who shoots up 49 innocent people in a nightclub, or it's folks coming in on a fiancé visa that federal agents I've talked to didn't even know existed in San Bernardino to kill 14 innocent co-workers, or it's what happens in Nice and Brussels and Paris and so many other places around the globe. This has to stop. And the fact is, we have to do a better job as a government, because somehow we're not doing a great job.
Do you stop it by stopping all Muslims?
No.
Okay, so that's policy is no longer.
Well, you look at his speech from last Monday, and I think you find your answer where he says, "Look, we are going to stop allowing countries that export terrorists, that we can't get a good vetting system with them."
He said I've got the quote. He said he would suspend immigration from regions of the world that have a history of exporting terrorism.
That's right.
So on 9/11, 4 airliners were hijacked. 3 of the 4 were piloted by men who had most recently lived and operated their cell in Germany, right? We all know this, right? Hamburg, Germany. So is Germany a country from which we will not allow immation anymore?
No, not wholesale, because there were so many other ways that we could have at least captured, or I should say known that that particular Al-Qaeda cell was here nefariously. Who were the people teaching them how to fly a plane in Florida, but they never had an interest in learning to land it? After 9/11, it was see something, say something. But before that, we had them. They could have been monitored in a way if there was a reasonable suspicion that they were tied to terrorism. So in that particular instance with the 9/11 terrorists, it's very hard to believe it's been 15 years, Rachel. But with that particular instance, I'd have to go back and review what we knew about each of them at the time before I answer your question completely. But the general policy is what he says it is, which is...
What he says is a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
That was...
Before.
And now
but,
it's
so that's so, but
from the region.
So you are saying that's no longer operable?
No, I'm saying that you should see what he said last Monday, where he's saying suspend it from regions of the country that are known exporters,
like Germany,
of terrorist
which
bus.
Makes no sense.
Well,
so
no.
This is, there's a reason that we keep, again, not moving on from this stuff. This was how, in December, when he made this statement, right? On December 7th, it was like, every political firework in the country went off all at once, because nobody could believe that somebody was running for president in this country by promising that if you are of a specific religion, you're no longer allowed to come here.
And I've memorized,
if that's no longer the case, that would be a really big deal. But it can't be that we're not supposed to hold him accountable for that statement anymore, but he hasn't rescinded it. In the same way that his statement of regret, if it's meant to apply to the Khan family, the Curiel family, we can't give him credit for that unless he actually tells us that he's communicated that to the Curiel and the Khan family. The thread that ties these things together is this is all stuff of his own making. And if you want the campaign to not be about this stuff anymore, it seems to me like he's the one who has to end all these controversies by telling us what he really means. You're in a position of trying to defend what he said last week and not refer to what he said in December, but only one of them can be true.
Well, Rachel, I have memorized the list of 22 flip-flops that Hillary Clinton has made on policy, and they have nothing to do even with the corrupt Clinton Foundation, State Department pay-to-play connection. They have to do with policy, and I think Bernie Sanders was right on many of those things when he was calling her out for them, and we will call her out for them if others won't. So
but
we feel like it's legitimate.
Your own campaign is about your own candidate, right?
Well, no, there's a choice in this country. Yes, this campaign in totem is about two candidates. And if I could say one thing about the coverage, it's not that it's biased or slanted, it says incomplete. It's almost as if it's a referendum on Donald Trump. It's as if you're going to go into the ballot box on November 8th, Rachel, and it's going to be a big picture of Donald Trump with a light, like you either put a black X over him or you say yay. That's not the case.
But
this
that's honestly
choice.
what
She's
happens
running too.
when one of the candidates running is planning on banning people from the United States.
And the other is hiding.
Okay, but not doing press conferences is one thing. Proposing a ban on coming to the United States for people who have a specific religion, that's always going to be a referendum on that candidate.
I think that's unfair, actually. I think it's actually a disservice to the voters in that he is now giving speeches, several a week, where he is laying out specific policy prescriptions, including on the matter of which you asked me, where people can go and look and they say, I don't believe that, or I don't like that, or wow, I didn't realize that. Let me try to digest this. And this is the stage in an election cycle where voters start to want to hear your specifics and your solutions.
Let me ask one more